Well, thanks everybody for being here. My name is Dewey Bartlett. I have the pleasure of being the mayor of the great city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And on behalf of the city of Tulsa, I'd like to welcome two individuals to our great city. First of all, the governor of the great state of Oklahoma, Mary Fallin. As well as the Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation, Secretary Mendez, Victor Mendez. Thank you. Now, I would like to recognize many of our special guests that are here today, so if you could hold your applause and everybody wave your hand accordingly, we'll recognize you. From Congressman James Lankford's office, we have Senior Policy Advisor Kevin Kincheloe, and from Representative Jim Bridenstine's office, Kathy LaFortune is here as well. Kathy, good to see you. From the city of Glenpool, we have the Vice Mayor, Alice Korb. And from the city of Glenpool as well, we have the city manager, Roger Coleman is here. We have Oklahoma State Senator Brian Crane, Oklahoma State Senator Gary Stanislawski, Oklahoma State Senator Dan Newberry. From the House of Representatives, we have Oklahoma Representative Janine Nolan. Representative Glenn Mulready is here. Tulsa City Council is appropriately represented by the chairwoman. Karen Gilbert is here. Karen. As well as Jeannie Q from the City Council office and City Councilor Skip Steele. We also have the city engineer from the city of Tulsa, Paul Zachary. The INCOG Executive Director, Rich Briere. The INCOG Transportation Planning and Programs Manager, Vipla Puda. From the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, we have Kel Kelly and also Kevin Hearn. Thank you very much for being here. We also have our very dear friend, the former secretary and former director of the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, as well as the former director of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, Neil McCaleb is here as well. It's always good to see Neil. We also have the former speaker, the present secretary of the state of Oklahoma, Chris Benz is here. Glad to see you got up early this morning, Chris. We also have former Highway Commissioner, Guy Berry is here. Guy, good to see you. And the current Highway Commissioner, Pete Regan is here. Now, for all of you, those of you that I did not recognize, my sincere apologies, and I'll catch you the next time. Let's give everybody a good round of applause. Some of you probably remember standing near the Route 66 pedestrian bridge just over about 3 years ago for the groundbreaking of the westbound Interstate 244 bridge replacement. You'll hear from a few of our speakers about the significance of this bridge, but also the significance of what we are in the process of doing regarding the reconstruction of our interdispersal loop of the city of Tulsa and the tremendous amount of collaborative money that has been spent on the taxpayers' behalf for in and around the city of Tulsa. The ability that we have to work together with all the different groups for over the last several years has really come to fruition and for our benefit in the city of Tulsa. We have a great reputation, deservedly so, of being collaborative, of recognizing the need to be a part of a large group of people that at the end of the day, when so motivated, will make decisions and make commitments for the benefit of our great city. This particular bridge is a good example of that. That particular bridge over there is also another example of that. It is the first bridge in the state of Oklahoma that is a double-decker bridge. But the significance of it is that it plans for the point in time that we in the city will be utilizing rail as a major form of transportation, both for commuters as well as for freight and passenger service as well. We will not have to worry about a bridge not being in a particular place in order for rail transportation to occur. Well, I would like to now introduce to you a very key member of the transportation system and management of our great city, Mike Patterson. He is the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. Michael? There you go. You're very welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. It is a great day in Tulsa. It is one of those days that you always long for. But Mayor, before we get started, I need to introduce a couple of people that are in the crowd that showed up and snuck under the radar. I've got one of our highway commissioners, transportation commissioners, John Fiddler from Multnomah is here with us as well, along with Michael Lee from Senator Inhofe's office and Representative Brumbaugh standing behind him. Thank you all for being here as well as everyone else. It is a great day at Tulsa because you guys have been so patient as we have gone through this process of building that bridge and now this bridge, along with what's been going on the last several years in the interdispersal loop. This opening of what I call the gateway to downtown Tulsa is pretty spectacular. We've made some dramatic changes in the structural integrity of these bridges with their replacement, but it also has opened it up and made a safer facility as the travelers and commuters come into the downtown area. From this vantage point, you can see to the east, you can see the old Cyrus Avery Bridge that carried Route 66 in its heyday and Southwest Boulevard. But the bridge to the west of us, the westbound bridge with its additional components of pedestrian traffic and rail component, made it attractive for a Tiger grant that really facilitated, as the mayor said, the collaborative effort between the federal government and their ARA funds and Tiger grant, our regular federal funds, and our state funds provided to us by the legislature and the governor. As you can imagine, the structural integrity of the old bridges were those that we call structurally deficient, so these have been on the governor's hit list. And Governor, I can report to you that we're removing those bridges from the list. As we open this bridge later today, it will take us a little bit to get things out of the way for the traveler public. We're going to have to unwind the detour. Just like we wound it up, we'll have to unwind it. So there'll still be orange barrels. I would ask drivers to pay particular attention. Things are going to change. It's not all of a sudden just going to be wide open. So please be cautious as they come through this area for the next few days as we unwind the detours. Thank you again for being here. It's now my privilege to introduce to you the commissioner, one of my bosses from this area, Peter Regan.
Thanks, sir. Good morning, everybody. What a great day. Thank you, Director Lyon, Director Patterson. I call him the Lion. I have nicknames for everybody, except the governor. She's the governor. Couple things. My name's Pete Regan, and I represent the 11 counties, as they indicated, and it's just such an honor to serve. I would not be here if it was not for Guy Berry and, of course, Governor Fallin. So we appreciate their leadership and everything that they started and the governor continues to do. The project, as Director Patterson alluded to already, is one of the largest projects. This I-244 corridor is roughly about $195 million. Some of the lettings around here have been the largest in the 103-year history of our department, and we really appreciate it. I want to talk very briefly about the federal partnership. This Arkansas River was first bridged in 1904 right there. I got this, I'm not a scholar, I got this off a plaque when I was jogging. But it was right here, and there's a plaque that says in 1904 they built a wood bridge. It was privately built, by the way, and they said they couldn't do it. And what it did is it helped connect and actually literally create Tulsa as we know it today. In 1916, there was another bridge with cooperation, Mr. Secretary, from the federal government, and Cyrus Avery was a consultant. And they built the bridge. It was the most concrete, structured bridge in this entire part of the entire country. And that consultant finished that bridge and was tapped to help with the U.S. federal highway system. And he had a vision, among others, that had the vision from Chicago to Los Angeles. It's called Route 66, and there's a reason that it runs through Tulsa, and it has to do with Cyrus Avery. So it's very significant that we have the partnership still going today, and we're so honored to be part of it. The last thing I want to do is just thank the public and thank ODOT, not me, but the folks in the trenches that are actually doing the work. They're kind of like a deep snapper. I mentioned this before at another project. They're like a deep snapper. If you don't do it right, that attaboy that you're used to getting every time in the pat on the helmet becomes problematic. They're like the CIA director. They can't brag about what they're doing right. They just got to go out and do their job. And under Randall White's leadership and Commander Ridley, that's what they've done, and I really appreciate it. This project was, my wife told me not to say this, but real quickly, this project was like a kidney stone. You don't know what, you just got to wait it out, you got to mitigate it, you got to do what you can do, and the public's been so patient with us, and we're very, very appreciative. It's just awesome that we have everybody here today. Now I get the opportunity to introduce one of my mentors and heroes. He has a nickname as well. It's Gary Ridley. I call him the Supreme Allied Commander. And the reason I call him that is because he earned it. He is a leader among leaders. He's emerged nationally, regardless of party or partisanship. He's very humble, and there's a reason I think Secretary Mendez is here for the 4th time in just a few short years. So with that, I'd like to introduce Commander Ridley.
You know, for a minute there, I thought my nickname was going to be Kidney Stone.
No, that's right.
Thank you, Commissioner. And it is a good day. Certainly, this is the welcoming bridge to Tulsa, to the downtown. You can look behind me and see it. And we're really pleased, as Mike and Commissioner Regan have both said, the patience of the city of Tulsa is second to none. But I believe in part is because of they seen the need. They really seen the problems that we had with our infrastructure and how it had worn out from many, many years of use, and wanted something done to it. These 2 bridges, and I was mentioning to the governor, if you evaluate a bridge from 0 to 100, sufficiency rating and that we use to determine the condition of the bridges, thinking about all the phases of it, all the facets of it. These 2 were a couple of the worst on the interstate system, and we were seriously thinking that we were going to have to load post these bridges if something hadn't been done. And along came a program called Tiger Grant program with the federal government. We applied for it, and lo and behold, we received about $49.5 million, and that helped us build that bridge, the westbound bridge, and it also enabled us to go ahead and build this one. But in conjunction with that, as Mike had said, we used some of our regular federal funds. But I want to tell you, members of the legislature and governor, without you continuing and signing into the law the idea to replace our structurally deficient bridges on the state system, we wouldn't be standing here. If we hadn't have done that 3 years ago, I'm not too sure that we would have been able to build this bridge with the funds that we had allotted us. So with those funds and the discipline that the legislature has had to continue ensuring that the truckers really want to get us open, don't they? And that's good. That's good. We want to get it open. But it is the help that we've received from the legislature, but the focus that the governor has had on transportation, and she had that focus back when she was in the legislature. Certainly as lieutenant governor, she's seen the need when the I-40 bridge went down, and she had an opportunity to drive some of the detours with me and look at the condition of the system, that we had to do something. When she got to Congress, she ensured that she got herself on a T&I committee that handles the transportation funding for the U.S. Congress. And when she became governor, one of her first acts, right after the election, by the way, before she was inaugurated, contacted me and she said, I want a plan put together so we have an end game on our bridge problem. We've talked about it, I know you're working on it, but we want an end game. We want something to ensure that by the time I leave office, by the time of the end of this decade, that we can say we've solved this problem. And that is what we're about, and that's what we're doing. And without her help, I can assure you this would not happen. Please help me welcome the Chief Executive of the state of Oklahoma, Governor Mary Fallin.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And I was going to say, Mayor, it's a great day in Tulsa.
Absolutely.
Wonderful day in Tulsa. And we appreciate all the people who live in Tulsa and the surrounding area that have traveled around this bridge area across the Arkansas River for their patience. As I've always told our friends in Tulsa, if there are some orange barriers or yellow cones or whatever there might be, that's a sign of progress because it means we're spending money on our infrastructure, on our roads and bridges in Tulsa, and we certainly have been doing that. And it's exciting to see this day finally come, the gateway, as has been said, to downtown Tulsa, and to have a wonderful new bridge. And it is fun that the truckers are excited. They're even honking today. They must be ready for us to open this. But Secretary Ridley, thank you for your tremendous work. Secretary Ridley has done a tremendous job, and he is right. When I had the opportunity to serve in Congress, we had been ranked as one of the top worst states in the nation in structurally deficient bridges. And Secretary Ridley used to come in front of the Transportation Committee and testify. And it was always embarrassing that Oklahoma ranked so bad in our bridges. But when we finished this 8-year plan, thanks to the transportation commissioners that are here serving on the commission itself, our legislators who have helped us fund this, along with the federal money by Deputy Secretary Mendez, certainly Executive Patterson, our commissioners that are represented, we're going to move from being some of the worst bridges in the nation to some of the best bridges in the nation, and that's a tremendous accomplishment, something we should all be very proud of as a state, because it's important. It's important not only to our traveling public for their safety. It's important for the movement of commerce up and down our major interstates. It's important that we have quality infrastructure, roads and bridges, highways in the state of Oklahoma, so we can have ease as we travel around. And so this is a big deal today, to be able to open this up, and the Tulsa motorists and certainly other people across the state are certainly going to enjoy this. This is the first time in nearly 2 years that we've been able to open up this section, which has been a very important part. And I want to say thank you to Manhattan Construction, their road and bridge company, portion of their company that has worked so hard on this. This is a lot of hard work. They work whether it's rain, shine, cold, hot, sometimes under dangerous conditions. But all the guys that you see in the yellow and all the construction heads out there, let's give them a round of applause for their great work on this road and this bridge today. Making real progress happen. I know that Senator Inhofe isn't here today, but Senator Inhofe has been a great supporter of all this too. He's certainly been very supportive in helping us in the U.S. Senate get the funding that we need to help with the Tiger grants and the other funds to help us match the federal and the state money to make this bridge possible. So we appreciate him. And Secretary Mendez, Deputy Secretary Mendez, has been here 4 times in the state of Oklahoma. We are very, very grateful for that. He's got other states, other territories that would love to see him, and I know he travels constantly, but welcome back to Oklahoma. Secretary Mendez, it's great to have you here. Thank you for your dedication, your service to the nation, certainly for coming here during important occasions like this and opening up the I-244 bridge. Welcome. Glad to have you here again. And to Commissioner Pete Regan, got another bridge finished in your area.
Game on.
Game on, buddy. I just like to know what your nickname is from me, but I don't know that I want to hear it publicly.
I'll text you.
He'll text me. All right. And this bridge that we're opening to traffic today has been under construction since March of 2013. The westbound bridge, which was opened to traffic in December of 2012, has been handling both west and eastbound traffic, as you can see on that, while the construction of this eastbound bridge has been ongoing. Both the interstates of the 244 bridges were originally built in 1967, so it's been almost 50 years that these bridges were built. And that's about the lifespan of a bridge. And so we are very glad that we were able to catch this bridge. You know, Secretary Ridley was telling me that on a scale of rating bridges, you rate them about 1 to 100 for safety and load-bearing carrying upon those bridges. And he was telling me that both these bridges, before we started construction on them, were in their 20s, the mid-20s. I mean, they had almost totally reached their lifespan, and that's a very dangerous situation. And that's why years ago we decided to make these two portions, east and westbound, a major priority for the state of Oklahoma and to dedicate that funding. And I do also want to thank the legislature once again for helping with our bridge building program. They were both considered structurally deficient, and in 2010, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation was awarded nearly $50 million of Tiger Transportation Investment generating economic recovery grants to be able to replace the westbound I-244 structure with the intermodal bridge. And what an exciting thing to have, an intermodal bridge. We're not only helping transportation today, but we're looking out towards the future to have the traffic on the top, the rail beneath it, and the pedestrian traffic below it. And that is really forward thinking from our Department of Transportation. So when you combine all the federal funding, it's about $78 million that have been spent since 2011 for the first of its kind on that intermodal bridge, having a double-decker bridge. And of course, this river is very important. It's important that we have a way to cross over safely to be able to get commerce, traveling public across both of them. So it's exciting that after we finish striping a little bit, if it doesn't rain too much, we're going to be able to open up this eastbound portion in just a little while, and it's going to be very, very exciting. The other thing that's exciting about this bridge, while we're continuing to work on it, we're going to continue to work on the trail system that's underneath the bridges, and there's also going to be an observation deck that overlooks the Tulsa Cyrus Avery Plaza and the historic 11th Street Bridge area. And so that's expected to be completed by the year 2015, and traffic will certainly be getting back to normal really soon. So this is another example of how the Department of Transportation, Mike Patterson, Secretary Ridley, the Transportation Commissioners, the legislature, and all of us have worked together to move forward, to rise to the challenge of fixing our structurally deficient bridges in the state of Oklahoma, which is a big priority for all of us. It's important for economic development, it's important for our travelers, and it's certainly important for transportation itself. So now Oklahoma is ranked lower, much lower in its structurally deficient bridges. Back in 2004, we had 1,200 structurally deficient bridges in our state. Today, by the end of 2013, we had 468, from 1,200 to 468, reducing that number over the last 4 years by 34%. That's a big movement within our structurally deficient bridges, and we're very, very proud of that. And then, of course, as Secretary Ridley said, our goal is that by the year 2019, that we have all those bridges that were on the original structurally deficient plan all eliminated, and they'll all be repaired and fixed, and we are spending that money appropriately. So then we won't be on that top of the list of bad bridges in the nation. We're going to be at the very bottom of having some of the very best bridges across the nation, something that we can all be very proud of. So thank you, all of you that work very hard, especially our workers with the construction companies that have been involved in this. We know it's not been easy work, but you've done a great, great job. And Secretary Mendez, it's always wonderful to have you in the state. We hope that we can continue to open up these bridges and hope to see even more as we continue to work on this. Congratulations to us all.
Senator Inhofe couldn't make it today, along with several of the members of the delegation, in part because I think you probably read on the news the activities that are going on worldwide, and Congress certainly needs to address those problems. But if he was here, if Senator Inhofe was here, because he is an advocate for infrastructure, he's an advocate for securing the safety of our borders, of our shores, but he's also an advocate, big advocate, for spending money on ourselves, to invest in ourselves, invest in Oklahoma and invest in our country. Senator Inhofe, if he was here today, I think he would say, as we would introduce our next guest, is that this is the nicest, best guy that the administration has appointed in any position in this administration. This is a guy that you can trust. This is a gentleman that is truly a gentleman. He understands our business. He was mine and Mike Patterson's counterpart in Arizona before he was tapped to head up the Federal Highway Administration. He's been here several times, as the governor has said, to Tulsa, but he goes all over. He is interested in his job. He wants to do things right. He started a program called Every Day Counts, because indeed every day counts. He understands the delays that it causes the public when we have projects like this going, and he wants to be able to expedite those projects, and he's working diligently in order to be able to do that. He's not only a good friend of mine, but he's certainly a good friend of the public and a good friend of Senator Inhofe. Please help me welcome the Deputy Secretary of Transportation, the second guy in charge of all of DOT in this country. Again, please help me welcome Secretary Mendez.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Come on. Okay, it's a great day out here. Good things are happening. I do want to say it's a real privilege for me to be back in Oklahoma. A lot of good things happening throughout the state. As you can tell, this is a very important corridor. We just heard the train passing by. We've heard a lot of truck passing by, and we're ready to open this up. I do want to say special thanks to all of you for having this great regional partnership here in the Tulsa area. A lot of good things don't normally happen if you all don't work together. We've seen this in community after community throughout the entire country. So to all of you that get engaged in these partnerships, very, very important. When that happens, we will be at the table with you. I do want to say specifically thank you to the governor. I've gotten to know her over the past few years, and she is very well focused on a lot of the important things for all of you here in Oklahoma. And so I think it's important that we keep that in mind. She obviously is a great advocate for transportation, but I do know that she has other great things in mind beyond just transportation. Mayor Bartlett, thank you for being here. A lot of good things happening here in Tulsa, as we've seen throughout the years, and so I do want to say a little bit more about that later. Also, within ODOT, Oklahoma DOT, Secretary Ridley, I've known him for many years. We used to be counterparts, or colleagues, I should say. I've known him for many years. Sharp guy. He knows the business inside and out, and I really do appreciate the friendship that we've developed, along with Mike Patterson. He has taken, I guess he stepped up into Gary's position as the director, but same thing, a lot of good knowledge there and a lot of good thoughts and ideas that come from your folks there. Commissioner Regan, I also have known him for several years, and I can tell you the one thing that I do know about him, not only is he witty and smart, but he understands what's important for all of us in transportation. And by the way, we also happen to run in the Oklahoma City Marathon. Now, I didn't run the marathon, he did. I ran the 5K, and he survived. So I do have that special connection with him as runners. The other thing I did want to mention here, Senator Inhofe, I know he's not available. Throughout the many years that I have worked in transportation, back in Arizona and now in my federal role, I do want to say that he is a great supporter and advocate for transportation. I know his office is here somewhere. I've gotten to know the senator over the years. I do appreciate everything that he does. He's got some really good ideas, and we will continue to work with him. A lot of what we have accomplished in the last couple of bills I don't think would have happened without his support. So I do want to say thanks to him specifically. The rest of your congressional delegation back at the federal level, they're working hard each and every day, and so we'll continue to work in that partnership as well. Also, with respect to the Cyrus Avery Bridge, now, I heard about it, I read about it, saw a few pictures about it, but there's nothing like being on site and actually looking over. I actually drove underneath all this construction earlier today and took a look at that as well. And I'm really glad that you're all preserving that. It is part of our history. It is part of our history as a nation. And to be able to preserve that, I think, says a lot about what we do in transportation, because these are important for us. These are cultural artifacts of what we have done in the history throughout our history in the U.S. Now, what's happening here along the Arkansas River today is much more, it's more beyond just completing the bridges. This project, as we know, is going to relieve congestion for the residents and businesses in the area that we know have been delayed for many years in terms of more growth. The economy is growing. You're going to have much more traffic in the future years. And so this is going to be important for all of you as you move into the future and for your economy. It's also providing new bike and pedestrian facilities that obviously will make it safer for pedestrians and runners like myself. You know, I run in Washington, D.C., and it's not safe doing that, so you got to be careful. So we want to promote that. It also sets the stage for accommodating passenger rail between Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and really, if you look at your freight needs, you're really connected to the entire national economy here. And that's what this is all about, connecting all of us from an economic standpoint. These bridges obviously will provide a linkage to the economic future of Tulsa. This is a prime example of the transformative transportation projects that we're looking for. And I'm proud the DOT was able to support this progress, as was mentioned, with substantial federal funding, not only in the form of Tiger grants, but also in the form of other federal support. And by the way, there are more good news here for the city of Tulsa. On Friday, we announced the latest round of our Tiger grants. We're into our 6th round now, and we're looking for projects that would make people's lives easier, connect them to bigger opportunities, and make really our communities much better places to live in. And your community, thanks to the tremendous support that I mentioned, your local leadership, came back with a project that did exactly that. So we are awarding $10 million to help turn Riverside Drive into a complete street that will increase safety for cyclists and pedestrians and connect to the new gathering place when it opens in 2017. So once again, I say congratulations to all of you. A lot of great things are happening. By the way, I did go to the gathering office earlier today. They showed me this great model, which is really amazing. If you haven't seen that, I would recommend you take a tour down there, and they can explain all that to you. The gathering itself, Riverside Drive, we're going to turn that into a complete street along with some other amenities. This will connect park and trail systems to nearby neighborhoods, improving the quality of life for local residents. Will also help to revitalize the Arkansas riverfront while improving a commuter route into the city's central business district. And so I'm very happy and very excited about the great things that are happening here in the Tulsa area. But it's also a reminder of how much more work we have to do as we move into the future. All told, we had 72 projects in 46 states and the District of Columbia that received nearly $600 million in Tiger grants this past Friday. But for every dollar that we funded, there were 15 other dollars that we could not fund simply because we did not have the resources to do that. We received 797 applications, and we awarded only 72 projects. So the fact that you were able to receive one of those 797 says a lot, not only about the quality of the application, but really more so the quality of your partnership and how you're able to come together to really put together a good argument for funding this project. So what does that tell us? It tells us that Tiger alone is not enough. We need to make full investments in America's transportation future, in our economy, and really in our communities. By one measure, we need $2 trillion in infrastructure spending by the year 2020. And the only way we're going to get close to that is if we work with Congress to change the way that we fund and invest in our transportation. So we will continue to work with Congress to make that happen. Earlier this year, the Obama administration did put forth our own ideas on the table. We put forth a bill that we call the Grow America Act, a 4-year, $302 billion proposal that will make the kind of investments that we're celebrating here today. And by making that the rule, not the exception, I think that's what we're all striving to do, to make sure, as several of the speakers have already mentioned, it's about investing in our country, investing in our communities. And that's what we're looking to do at the national level. So with that, I do want to make sure that all of us at DOT will continue to work with you. Secretary Fox is very focused on everything that we're doing. And by the way, Secretary Fox is a former mayor from Charlotte, North Carolina. So he understands the importance of transportation investments when it comes to the local economy. He's very focused. I know he's a former colleague of yours, Mayor. He understands that at the local level. At the state level, we have to make these investments. It's about our future of our economy and our community, connecting people to jobs, to education, to healthcare. Very, very important. So with that, I do want to say once again, congratulations to all of you. Thank you all for being here. And when you're out there driving around, I need for you to do 4 things. Please buckle up. Put away your cell phones when you're driving around. Be on the lookout for pedestrians and bicyclists and runners like myself. And very simply, drive safely. Thank you all very much, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Mendez. We appreciate those comments and all the comments by the speakers who've been with us today. A couple of just quick recognition, introductions, if you will. Over on the left, on my left, your right, is Bob Portis, the director of the Port of Catoosa. Bob, thank you for being here today. Huge intermodal transportation facility for us. Governor, I appreciate you recognizing the highway workers, Randall White and his crew out here in all the yellow vests working every day with Manhattan Construction. Great job, guys. Congratulations. And last but not least, someone that I forgot earlier because she's in a transition, Representative Sky McNeil, who is now with the chamber, so she's going to lead us in this ribbon cutting. Sky, thank you for all your help in the legislature and what you're about to do for us with the ribbon. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Sky, take it over.